Hey Internet, as evident by my haircut, it's summertime and living is easy. But this week we're rounding up 3 root beers that can help out when living is not quite so easy. Charitable root beers. We've got Margo's Bark. Now Margo's Bark was created by a kid named Oscar Youd who decided he wanted to make a root beer for his science fair project. So his father, an artist named Tim, and his mom Jessica decided, let's do it. I wish I had thought of that when I was a kid, making root beer for science fair, but then again, all my science fair projects were about as lazy as they could possibly be, so it never would have happened. Margo is their family dog, and all proceeds from the root beer go to help dog shelters. We've got Joby Joe's Root Beer Float. Now, this is a Rocket Fizz soda. Not a lot of information on it on Rocket Fizz's website anymore, so not real sure exactly who Joe might be. It says on the bottle, in memory of Joe, so we can assume he's dead, I guess. Also assume that's a picture of Joe in a white t-shirt with a fishing pole and lantern standing outside of a tent. The bottom does say that portions of the proceeds are donated to a homeless organization. It's a little bit ambiguous. I assume that it is not an organization that is itself homeless, but that is going to help the homeless, hopefully. Our last one is another Rocket Fizz, and this is kind of a stretch, but I needed something to fit into the theme. Gene Autry's root beer. Rocket Fizz has a lot of soda where they've licensed people's names. We've already had Judge Wapner root beer. They also make a Rowdy Roddy Piper all out of bubblegum soda that I have no interest in ever tasting, and thankfully it's outside of the realm of this show. However, to draw this in, licensing Gene Autry's name means they are paying some amount of money to Gene Autry's estate, and Gene Autry's widow, Jacqueline, spends a lot of time and money in charitable work. So, ultimately, you're helping out a little bit, tenuously at best, but we go down the line. All profits, some profits, maybe some profits.
I'm gonna party like I did when I was 8. Drink too much root beer, stay up late. The Adam glasses, root beer around me. Yeah, the Adam glass, root beer around me.
Let's start off in Margo's. Smells pretty herby. Good head. Filled it a little high. Very bubbly. Pretty deep, pretty sassafrasy. Not too sweet. Just a little bit of vanilla in there. They talk about the Science Fair project kicking up a root beer obsession that involved buying every root beer they could find at various markets around Los Angeles. And I think this is a pretty good amalgamation of different types of root beer flavors. It's pretty middle of the road because of that, but it's got the herbs and it's got the vanilla. It's very good. Now, Joby Joe's Root Beer Float, I'm a little concerned about. The fact that it has the word float in the name. It actually smells really chocolatey. Interesting. Not a bad head, a little bit lighter in color. Smells very sweet now. Comes out of the bottle. Yeah, that's probably deserving of the root beer float name. I think that would actually be a better flavor if it didn't. If I tasted this blind, I might actually like it better. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. It's got. See, it's still got that sort of chocolatey almost graham crackery smell to it. And then just the vanilla and the sort of burnt caramel in the taste. I'll tell you what, this tastes like a s'more. It really does. If this were marketed as a s'more soda, I would have no complaints whatsoever about the flavor. It's interesting. It's good enough. I've had chocolate sodas before that are just terrible. I don't know if there's any actual cocoa in this, but it tastes like there might be. As such, it's not too bad. Now, I know that Rocket Fizz does also make chocolate sodas, so I suppose it's possible that this was just a mistake. But no, I don't know. Just this normal stuff. Your citric acid, caramel color, sodium benzoate as a preservative. Gamma for thickening, for foam, natural and artificial flavors. It's real sugar. That is fascinating. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And we got Gene Autry, our singing cowboy. Wow. Looks like we're pausing for a second because that is the only bottle I have ever bought from Rocket Fizz that is not a twist top. I don't know how that happened. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Can't even open it. Goodness. Wow. Come on. I tore up that cap. Not getting able to open. Well, there we go. That smells very A&W-y. That is a very dark root beer. Yeah. Very herby. A little bite to that. Interesting. Well, flavor-wise, it's not as herby as the smell. It actually tastes a little watered down. But it's more complex herbally than, say, the Margos. We're going to just not even talk about this as far as comparing it to other root beers. It's not as sweet. It's got more of a bitterness to it. But yeah, it's still got that sort of just wateriness behind it. Well, it's all right. But I think our rating, as far as philanthropy and deliciousness go, Margo's Bark's going to be out front. And Gene Autry, again, tenuously charitable. But it's all right. We'll put it at number 2. And Joby Joe's. Helping the homeless is great. Try to do it as often as possible. As many ways as possible. But maybe try to do it more directly than buying this. That is just a weird... So the outside of the Margo's Bark says woof, and the inside says meow. How cute. Meanwhile, the Joby Joe's Rocket Fizz says eat cheeseburgers. There you go.